there is a program at our St. Garden Street. So I know of those programs. There's a 21st century program that's run by the Department of Education. And I think there are programs at um, Gomez School and the Methodist Training and Outreach. They have an after-school program, and the Methodist Church in Tutu also have an after-school program.
Okay, so there are lots of, and these folks are not represented here today, apart from you?
I don't know of anyone else in this room.
Anybody else? Because it would be nice to get like those who already have the programs going.
I should be able to get in touch with some of those persons
Okay.
because they know the drill, the human services.
Right.
You must get a license from human services. They know about the health cards and the
Yes.
police record and so
Yes.
on. So I should be able to get some persons to join this club.
Okay, do you have community centers here that do after school? Because I know
I think there's one in the Boys and Girls Club in
what's that?
the the Boys and Girls Club in Oswald Harris Court.
Agenda, anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I saw some talking
So-
around.
Yeah, so other persons know about other after school programs, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. Pardon? Mr.
Yeah.
Freeman?
I would definitely be glad to be part in the after school program.
Okay.
As a retiree, former director of after school program with the Department of Human Services,
Yes.
I will definitely be glad to be on the committee.
Okay, so let me cut to the chase. You want to be the lead? Mr. Turnbull?
Okay. Okay, you got me. I will do it.
One thing you will realize about me, I cut to the chase very, very quickly. Thank you. Very quickly, I cut to the chase.
My question is this, does also involve the summer programs?
Yeah, you see, I will tell you what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to establish committees, and then these committees, after everything, I want us to meet as soon as possible after today for us to start planning our program. Because we have to start with goals and objectives, okay? We also not trying to reinvent the wheel. What we're trying to do is partner with others to assist, okay? But to make sure that the presence of the church is always there, doing, assisting, helping. Okay, so you'll notice I'm just being general today because we're just trying to establish committees. But then when these committees eventually end up meeting, what it will be, thank you, what it will be is that we will end up doing our goals, then we'll go deeper. We'll get our goals done, we'll get our objectives done, okay? And we'll know how to go from one place to the next. All right? Yes.
Miss
Thank you so
Ayala?
much, Pastor. Somebody just called me. Who was it?
I did.
Ms. Freeman?
Yes. Also, when it comes to after school and anything dealing with youth programs,
Yes.
we have a listing through Human Services of
Okay.
the individuals, the different entities that have been approved through their licensing.
Okay.
So that list I can provide you so that you will know exactly what we
Yes.
have within the St. Thomas St. John district. But through the police department, we
Yes.
have several after school and youth programs to include
Yes.
PAL, the cadet program, Weed and Seed. We also have the Civil Air Patrol that is not run by VIPD, but they also have a very active after school component to their program. You have Lutheran Church. There's a lot out there, and again,
Okay.
what we can provide you is those who have already gone through and have passed the license
Licenses,
procedures,
yes.
so that we can start off as a basis, and also Methodist Church.
Okay.
Okay, and I too would like to be involved in all of your youth committees that you have available.
Okay, so you want youth or after school? You want,
I I I will assist him, but I would very much like to be on the youth committee
okay.
as well.
All right.
Okay.
So, all right, very good. Pastor Turnbull, what's your first name? Because I know we have two Turnbulls. What's it? Renan? VRNON. Yes, you got it. Then Miss Freeman. Okay, so then Miss Freeman, at our next, which will be our first committee meeting, you'll be able to furnish us with this information. Okay, awesome. And then we'll go from there, doing goals and seeing how best we can. Can you tell me your name again, please? Ayuso. IROSE. Iros. PHE. Okay. Would you like to be on the after school committee? Okay. What would you like to do on the after school committee? But just there? Okay, so we have the head, which will be Pastor Turnbull. And then we have Miss Freeman, I'm not too sure. She said she wants to be on the committee, I'm not too sure in what capacity. And then we have you. So, assistant, okay. And then would you like to be secretary, treasurer, or resource person? Everybody running from secretary? Resource? Okay, so we still have secretary and treasurer open for after school. I know we don't have everybody here. Pastor Gladstone. Pardon? He wants the mic. He wants the mic. Pastor Turnbull, mic.
As far as I understand, a lot of our schools, schools have their own after-school programs.
Okay.
Now, what the when the CDBG was providing funding, they still do, but they were interested in certain areas. You can target certain areas
Yes.
where there were no after-school programs, so that you can go in there. I just want to add that to the committee you're having.
Yes.
Look at
yes.
certain areas that need those
Right.
kind of programs, because one of the problems we have is that children have to go so far to attend
Okay.
any public after-school program, but if you have it in their community,
Okay.
it would be very good. And I know that there was nothing up in the Bergshome area, Hospital
Yeah.
Grown Bergshome area, and they were thinking about that. But if you can address those, keep that in mind, or targeting areas,
Yeah.
so that specific areas can be,
Yeah.
looking
I
at certain
like
children.
that. I like that. We are actually going to make sure we make a note of that, because if there are areas that other folks are already doing, then we might as well as look for an area where there is nothing. Yeah. Pastor.
Talking about after school, I have a passion for reading,
Yeah.
and you all have listened to the governor's address in January about the statistics on reading in the Virgin Islands. And if we, the church, do not do something about reading for our young people, we can have a community of functioning illiterate persons who are going to be pulling our purses and our chains and our jewelry and breaking into our homes. Alarm doesn't mean anything to them. I visited Alabama sometime last year and heard about a program there where they take inner city children for a 6-week summer program and have them reading 1, 2, 3 grade levels by the time the summer program is over. It's a passion of mine, but it doesn't seem to be able, I can't get a spark yet. We need to listen to what's happening with our children not being able to read. They'll get an A in a course, but still at the end of the day, they can't do comprehensive work at all. Very poor in English, can't read a paragraph and get a salient points out of it. We need to invest some time in reading. You hear the old folk talk about back to basics, reading and arithmetic. Our children here on the Virgin Islands are falling way behind, and it's time for the church to do something. Some of us parents, we have stopped reading since we left school, so we can't help our children. The math that I see my children doing, I can't help them. Because sometimes I'll read the information there for the math, and I still can't figure it out. And when I ask teachers about it, the teacher tells me that she herself can't figure out the material they're reading. You see, these books are prepared on the mainland for a different caliber of children, and the church needs to, we have a little cubicles where we do our worship, but we need to think of the communities in which we live, because if we have the children in our communities, they're going to remember us.
Yes.
That's where I felt good about myself, because I learned to read by going to a program there. Please think seriously about the governor's address and the reading for children here on the Virgin Islands, because the more they fall behind, the worse things are going to be, and we're going to hear about the murders, and we'll become numb to it because we figure there's nothing we can do. If we educate our children and put them on a path of upward mobility through their education, to me they will not fall by the wayside and then become hoodlums.
Yeah.
Reading,
It's fundamental.
please.
Bishop, thank you. I don't know if you're aware of this, but here in the Virgin Islands, when children graduate from 12th grade, it will be astonishing to you to know the percentage that graduate with a 4th grade reading level or lower. Not higher, lower. 4th grade reading. What happened? Let me tell you what has happened. You're the teacher. This is my daughter. She comes home and she tells me, you know what, miss? I'm like, oh, yeah? And I come to you and wait, don't you dare talk to my... So you'll be like, you see me? I'm not even going to... So whatever she does now in class, you pass over because you don't want any kind of interaction with such a parent again. Now, you're the 1st grade teacher. You're the 2nd grade teacher. You're aware of this. When this child comes, you're like, I don't want to deal with that mother. She passes on. 3rd grade teacher, she passes on. All right? And then next thing you know, she's in 12th grade, graduating. Nobody wants to deal with her because she's just a rude child, and she has now, because of maybe one thing and one bad response from a parent, has just made this child just sail through on up to 12th grade, reading at a 4th grade level and lower. Go ahead.
My son was in public and private school. And when he started off, I wanted him to have a good foundation as far as him going to a private school. In the event of me sending him to a private school, I noticed that the curriculum was a lot different. Mm-hmm. And you expect the private school is supposed to have a more of comprehension along with phonics.
Yes.
And and they didn't have it. And my son struggled in reading for a long time because he was not challenged to actually read and also comprehend what he read. And that's a big, 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 big problem that I noticed in the public school. The other thing, as the bishop was saying, the workbook, when my son reached to Cancrine after he came out of private school, when he came home with the textbook, there was no examples in the textbook. So for me to help him, it was a problem.
Yes.
The superintendent came in, and we had a meeting with her, and she looked at the math book, and the math book had no examples, so you're lost.
Yes.
And that should not be.
Yes.
Because as a parent, you have your child failing, and there's nothing that you can do. And the child will get frustrated, along with the parent, because you're trying to make, sit over the child, go through the homework, and understand it yourself, so then even if the teacher explanation is not comprehensive to the child, maybe my explanation will be comprehensive, and it does not work in either way, on the teacher's behalf or on my behalf as a parent. And it is hard as a parent to see your child struggling and failing when there's certain things that could be implemented. The math book needed to change.
Yes.
And if there needs to be changed, as parents, if we're requesting that the math book be changed, change it, because it's not working. It does not make sense to have something that does not work.
And I will tell... Go ahead. Okay. I'll tell you something on what you just said also. A lot of the times, I find myself Googling. I go on Google. And that is why we want to get into adult committees also, because we need to educate the parents. We need to help them with computer literacy, with reading, okay, like you said, and just help them be, just empower them so that they can empower their children, okay, because my son, I'm from St. Lucia, and being from St. Lucia, I didn't do the American standard, I did British standard. So a lot of the times when my son comes home with something, I can teach him a different way. Okay, that worked for first grade and second grade and third grade, and it started dwindling in fourth grade. Now he's in fifth grade, and I have to Google. Thank goodness I understand how to use a computer. But what about the child whose parent really wants to help, and they don't know how to use the computer?
Yes. One explanation for something before I make a statement. You said adult assessment, assisting adults to be competent. What does that mean?
Giving them the tools that they need to be able to assist the children. Some of them can't read. Okay. Some of them are computer illiterate. They don't know how to operate a computer. Okay. So these are some of the things that we will be looking at to help them become competent.
I wanted to see if it was a possibility to interface the area that we are speaking now with after school. I have done quite a lot of work here, been principal of a schools, different school systems, taught in the school system. Right now today I'm dealing with a school too. I found out, I've seen that a lot of the problems with children is a parental problem. And some of us, and in this society, you have a lot of parental problems. I've seen children with their fathers alone taking care of them. And people think only their mothers, the father alone taking care of them. And the time factor there. I've seen dysfunctional families, and the result that the youngsters will want to learn. They're smart, but because they go back home to an environment that is not conducive to education, and the public schools basically can't do what basically we can do, because we have an element where we are able to assist the spiritual part of a person, the spiritual component, the solical component. And we had something prior to now, I don't know when it functioned, but they had given, each school had some pastoral assistance, whereby we were able to go into the schools and help with the counseling operation, and they had assigned different pastors to each school. It never actually I must say, is that ongoing? But
Yeah.
I don't know if some people still do it, but it broke down somewhere in the whole process. And dealing now and then, I was thinking, all I said, if there should be some linkage between, for instance, supposing we're having an after-school program at X community or wherever the place is, and the same problems that might occur in the school, the children still, or child or children still bring that same problem to the after school, because after school is supposed to be help to assist.
Yeah.
Whether or not there should be some component in there whereby, one, we assess parents based upon performance of the children in the environment, see how we could help with that. Because even today I was talking to one of the teachers and they were telling me that this mother can't go with this child. And it was like in a 12th grade setting. And I've seen the whole class, and many of the children in the class have a mother as their guardian now, because there's no father in the home. And I find that the tendency to do things that are wrong is very bad, especially smoking, drugs.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids in the 12th grade, you'd be surprised what happened. We're not supposed to be.
Yes.
And therefore, by giving them that particular maybe mentorship by people within our churches who are fathers, after the same process of mentoring them. Because not only, I think we should not only just do like the school, we should have some more personal touch with the environment and the parents. Let's think about that. I've been in this, and it will work, because we're able to do a holistic approach rather than like a school system that just deals with the student themselves. I think there should be a peep into if they have severe problems, into the environment of the child.
Pastor Gladstone, you said a lot of things, a lot of pointers, and I sincerely believe you need to be on this committee, because you will really be able to assist us in figuring out a direction. I was very much not aware of the fact that pastors used to go into the schools, and if we can get that again, that would be awesome, because we can't understand why they took God out of the schools in the first place. Oh, really?
And they had brought it over here to St. Thomas.
Okay.
And I would like, but I don't know where it's at now, because I'm not functioning in it. So
Yeah.
Normally, we normally go into the schools. I think Pastor West, from your church, West William and the Deacon Scipio, they had a movement going to the schools. Remember that? 2 years ago? So I think they could
Really?
revive that.
Yes.
Yes, but also I'm also invited to go to the schools also,
Yes.
where we talk. Sometimes we get in trouble.
Yeah.
And we tell them about abstinence and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
the principal gets up and say, you can't say that in school. So, like fist fight.
But then if
But
you
I
have,
say-
if,
but I
if
say-
you have an after-school program, then you can say there.
So we have the assembly. So we normally go by
Yeah.
invitation,
Okay.
and we also do sessions, graduation sessions.
Okay.
We go and we talk to them,
Yes.
closing out sessions and so on, and talk with them. And we do have people from this church. They go to the different schools and to our
Yeah.
teachers, counselors, and also talk to them on a spiritual level.
Okay,
Been
I
invited.
like that. I like that. One of the things I do want to point out is the fact that parents, especially in the public school systems, but it hurts me to see a parent paying so much money for a child to go to a private school, and they do that same thing that other parents in public school do. They don't go to parent-teachers conferences. They just don't go. So one of the things when we were trying and figure out, Pastor Carrion, myself, there's a lady named Milagros and some others, somebody pointed out that maybe what we can do, and that is just, for a committee, maybe that's one of the things that you can think of. What we can do is that we can have some kind of incentive. Your child will be welcome to that program, but we need you to give us their report card so that we know, not that we want to be in your business, but we would like to know what areas we can assist them in. And we'd like to know their strengths for us to be able to encourage it. So hopefully, if we do something like that in an after-school program, that will encourage them to go to the parent-teachers conferences for them to be able to get that report card, to bring it, because they'll have to end up giving it to us, in other words. So that's kind of like assisting the school at arm's length, That's one of the ways that we can do it. So I don't know, that's just something to think about. Okay, now let's wrap up after school because we still have one more meeting that we need, one more committee we need to form. When can we meet for after school? Remember, we meet in Thursday, April 7th, 10 a.m. When can we meet for after school? Thank you.
Suggestion, seems like you'll be here at that particular.
Okay, sorry.
Suggestion, since you're going to be here on that particular day,
Yes.
I don't know if you have your own jet coming here, but it wouldn't be nice for the initial planning of these committees if you could, if it's not inconvenience anyone, if you put them on that particular day at different times,
Yes.
with some time in between,
Right. At least
at the
2 hours.
same location,
Yes.
it will help you from running around St. Thomas
Yes.
and put the whole thing together and make it easy on everyone.
Yes. So, okay, so we'll do Thursday, pardon me? Yeah, so we'll do Thursday, April 7th. So we have 10 a.m. We can probably do, let's say, maybe midday. So in that way, it gives us a chance to cover whatever issues we have to cover for the homeless. So 12 o'clock? Yes. You're blocked. Do you know what the license plate number? No. Which one are you? The white hair?
Yeah, she has to leave out to the white Honda. So the gray and this white, I guess.
You are this one here?
Yeah, this one.
This brown one? So we have the Grand Cherokee, the Honda, and the Ford. Okay, good. Thank you. I'll move on. So we have the Homeless Committee, Thursday, April 7th, 10 a.m., St. Paul's Church. And then we have after school, Thursday, April 7th, 12 p.m. Okay, thank you. All right, so then we have the last one. We have the last one, and it will be the incarcerated. And we already know what we're trying to get at.
I want to talk about that a little bit. We were trying in that particular area. I know Pastor Bentley is a lot with it. I think they're not well organized, according to my approach to it. Okay. We were going for many years in helping. Says Sunday morning around 9 to 10 in the general region. What I found out is that they had some mandates from the federal government to deal with fixing some aspects of it, and they arbitrarily just put an ocelot gym. So then every time we go to that particular institution, they give us probably 3 or 4 mentally challenged people to deal with. And there's no structure in the place. They put us in a place where they have other visitors coming, where they have the telephones and so on. But we go in that little room. Before here in St. Thomas, used to go on the roof, and there were officers that guard. It was done properly. To me, I find it very insulting in the way that they treat the church over here in the particular prison. I don't know for down the street, but is that conducive to do anything, basically? It's like to me a general joke.